Singapore's robotics lead deepens with 818 units per 10,000 manufacturing workers, raising questions on scaling beyond global frontrunner status. To expound on this are Rahul Nambiar of BotSync and Marcelo Tarkaltob of Rockwell Automation. So, Rahul and Marcelo, what does the automation challenge actually look like from the top?
Pleasure to be here. So, in terms of what we're looking at as well now, as the density of automation increases, what becomes more complicated and important for customers is how intelligent is the orchestration behind these robots. Think of this as a very large team of different individuals playing on the factory or warehouse floor. Now, apart from great individual players, what you really need is a cohesive team strategy in terms of how these individual players or robots start working with each other. So from the top, especially for us as a company as well, what now matters a lot more is how does the orchestration and cohesiveness of these different robots start making a bigger difference for customers as they expand automation a bit further.
The biggest challenge, if you look from a management perspective, and what we see talking to companies and industries, it's really about how to deploy all those new technologies we have emerging in a consistent way to make it effective. We have companies talking about robots and AI and how to make using those new technologies in a way that you create value to remain competitive. So it's really how about to use automation towards efficiency in a constant changing environment like the one we're living today.
At this level of density, where are the pressure points?
Absolutely. So typically, when companies start deploying more than a certain number of robots, the typical failure points start coming from edge cases as more and more robots start automating more of the tasks. And the pressure points typically arise from how are these edge points or edge cases handled in a way that it does not disrupt operations. For companies that's starting to automate with few robots, that doesn't really become a case because there's enough manual operations to take care of the edge cases. But the more automation you have, or the more robot density you have, especially when you have different robots from different vendors coming into the ecosystem, then these edge cases become extremely important pressure points or failure points, which if not handled very well, starts creating a system which does not really scale any further.
When you look at the pressure points are really, I'll say, in a few angles, right? One is first, a lot of companies are still not understanding exactly where they want to go. We have been talking about digital transformation, robotics for quite a bit of time. But there's still a lot of not understanding where to go next and how to move forward in terms of deploying those technologies. At the same time, I think the second biggest challenge comes is when you know what to do and what to go next is about the people, the human capital perspective. One of the biggest challenges around how to have, especially in places like Singapore, how to have the right skill talent to run those new applications and new operations, which are much more complex in a way than how they used to be when they were last automated. So those are the key pressure points. One is coming from the technology cell. Obviously, the second one is the human capital aspect.
So, if robot density is no longer the right metric for where Singapore goes next, what is?
We would say so. It is not. The intelligence and handling this automation becomes a more important metric to look at. What we look at is utilization percentage. So, for example, you can have a lot of robots in a facility for showcase, but if they're not being utilized to its full extent, then the value is not very significant. So what we would look at instead is, are you utilizing the bots to its full extent? And the way to make that happen is to have orchestration where it is able to understand customers' ops well enough in order to ensure that the bots are being utilized at full capacity to make the entire deployment successful.
So looking at robot, it's not the only metric you need to look at. Obviously, if you see robot density is going, it's increasingly significantly around the world, and Singapore is not different. That's it's obviously it's driven by a big push from governments and around the globe and Singapore about really to modernize manufacturing. And again, especially in our island where space is limited and manpower is limited. It's really about the second part is it's how to bring those technologies together. We see companies that have been successful. It's not only the ones who are adopting more robotics, but it's adopting robotics, IT and OT convergency, and recently increasing adoption of AI, and how to do all those things together in a way that it really makes your operation more efficient.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Rahul and Marcelo. Looking forward to having you both back on the program.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Once again, those were Rahul Nambiar, CEO and co-founder at BotSync, and Marcelo Tarkeltob, the Regional Vice President for Southeast Asia at Rockwell Automation. For more news, visit sbr.com.sg.